Alrighty, so today we are going to be going over something a little bit different. We are going to be going on the gameplay side of things, and more specifically, we are going to be talking about how you can improve your gameplay within Dokkan Battle in a short amount of time, right? The beauty of this game is most of the time it's just absorbing information. I mean, you know, obviously this could be a core principle for anything, but it is absorbing information and knowing how units do certain things and being able to put them in the best situation to execute those certain things, right? I know that sounds vague, but you'll kind of understand that as we go. Now, the team that we're going to be rocking with here is the Majin Power team. I think this will be a nice little example for you guys for a team where you have a lot of unique mechanics going for you, and it'll kind of help you understand it. So the aim of this video is to give you some tips and tricks during the gameplay, so that way you can kind of improve what you were doing and maybe make that hard event that you were struggling with a little bit easier, because you'll be able to take advantage of some of these units. Now, keep in mind, a lot of times it's just about not having the units that you would need for a specific situation, and that is unfortunate, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So we're going to be going into the Golden Frieza Red Zone stage, one that's intermediately difficult, but not too bad. We'll at least be able to kind of understand things as we go. So right off the bat, we don't get the best opening rotations, but that is okay. What we are going to do is use Mr. Boo in slot 1, and then we're going to take advantage of the support that's coming from Kid Boo. We want to grab these right here. We'll grab the rainbow orbs, and then we will attack Shisami with you, and then we will go after we'll go after, that's Tagoma. We'll go after Tagoma with Kid Boo. So Mr. Boo should be fine right here. He's a defensive menace. Yeah, unfortunately got sealed, but that's okay. Not a big deal. His offensive prowess isn't what he's here for. 8 million right there from Super Boo. Now, I forgot to explain something, but the first thing that you want to do is identify the character that needs to go into slot 1 for a specific turn. Now, in this case, we went with Majin Buu, or Mr. Boo, because Mr. Boo has defensive prowess, right? He has damage reduction going on, and he's going to be better if you get him more rainbow orbs. So what did I do? I put him in slot 1, and then I also decided to give him as many rainbow orbs as I could find. You can see I gave him 3, and he was good to go. So now what we want to do is find the character with the higher defense, and it is going to be the friend Boo. Now, I'm not sure why his defense is so much higher than mine. It must be because of his skill orbs. Yes, because he has better skill orbs. So defensively, we are going to focus on the friend support for this version of Boo tanks. And I think what I want to do is take out the unit that's closest to dying, so that way we can focus on another one. So we are going to go for Shisami, and now with, with Dokkan Fest Fat Boo, we are going to go for type advantage, and then we will continue to go after Sorbet with this version of Boo tanks as well, and it's going to be the best option right here to give him these, because he's getting extra key per orb, and that is the most amount of orbs. Now, it is typing orbs, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but all good, and now we have the kind of rotation set up the way we want to. So what we want to do is have one Boo tanks linked up with Majin Buu, and then the other rotation would probably be another Boo tanks linked up with Mr. Boo, whether it be, I think what I would want to do is the Tech Exchange Boo, who you guys are going to be seeing in a moment, so we're going to put him on rotation, and then we want to have a floater running around that gives support and will look very good, and that is going to be Physical Kid Boo and his Super Easy A. So that is kind of the core principle of gameplay that we are going for. We want to identify who our slot 1 defensive aces are, which in this case is going to be Boo tanks for both the rotations, because he's just got the guard, and then he's also going to be stacking a decent bit. So you could go with Fat Boo as well because of the revival, but it's just going to go on a turn-to-turn basis, right? That is the beauty of this game, that every turn is going to be different. Sometimes in these first phases, it's not going to be too sweaty, but you never know. These things can change just like that. Like, you could be doing really well, and then one bad attack and you lose. So that is kind of the fun of the game. Unfortunately, I can't give you a tip to win every single fight, but I can give you the concepts to put yourself in the best situation, and then it comes down to RNG. So that is kind of like what we are aiming for with this specific video. Now, here we go. We're not going to finish him off there, which honestly I'm fine with, because we're trying to stack, right? That is kind of the whole thing. Now, in this situation, what we could do, if this was like a normal turn, actually no, because we don't have a Boo tanks on this turn. So what we're going to do right away is just put Evil Boo in the front, and we're good to go, because defensively he's going to give us the best chance with his dodge and stuff like that. So you guys will see that. We have the rainbow orbs for Boo, and we are also going to have typing orbs right there to get closer to the Dokkan attack. So 6.7 right there from you. Can look much better when we have a better linking partner set up with you, but that is all good, boys. So boom, there we go. We have the debuffs, all that fun stuff going. Now we are in the second turn. So what do you notice about this specific turn, right? What we want to do is, this is a unique situation where we are just going to risk, not even risk it for the biscuit, right? What do you notice about this situation with the number of attacks? There's one attack in slot 1, and then there's a bunch in slot 2. So what we want to do is identify the unit that has type advantage. In this case, it's going to be this Boo right here, and his links aren't done, unfortunate. But what we want to do is put Boo. Why are we putting Fat Boo in slot 1? Even though he has to stack. We are putting Fat Boo in slot 1 because he has a revive condition, right? And if he gets hit with it, it's all good. If the super does 1,000,000 damage, we'll be fine because we're just going to revive anyway. So we're going to put him in that spot because even if he does mess up, we have a get out of jail free card. And then we also are going to put the unit with type advantage after supering in slot 2 to take all of these attacks right here because they're not going to do any damage. Then we also have a support unit floating slot 3, and we are going to be good to go with that being said. So this turn's going to look pretty nice for us, and we got the scenario that we wanted, where this is going to be a super. It did 400,000 damage, but with a Boo team, we'll be able to heal that off. But say that had done, 700,000 damage, we would have been able to revive anyway. So that is kind of like the luck of the draw with this specific type of game mode, right? Where we put the unit in the best situation because we knew it was only one attack, so we had to leave that up to chance. We were chancing that that was going to be a normal, and unfortunately it was not. It ended up being a super, and that is sometimes the bad RNG, because objectively, we had a unit with type advantage that's going to be taking all of the other attacks in the middle, and that is going to put him in the best situation as well, because he's going to get his defense on these super attacks, and he'll be good to go from those normals, isn't going to take any damage or anything like that. But unfortunately, we got unlucky and we have the super, so I'm glad that we got that example in. It's just a good thing that we didn't lose right there, but even if it did end up taking us out, we would have revived anyway. So that would have been very helpful, and you'll see very quickly just how quick, you'll watch the HP bar at the end of this turn and see how quickly we just heal back up to full, right? That's what makes the Majin Buu team so good. So you guys will see that in action in here in a moment. So you can see we're already back up to 383,000 HP, and I don't believe we're even done yet. And we're already back up to 530,000. So just like that, we're safe again, and we're going to grab these to heal with you. And then we want to grab this one over here, these orbs right over here, because we're trying to preserve the rainbow orbs for Mr. Buu. Unfortunately, only 2 there, but that's good because he's not even taking any attacks, so we're good to go. So you can see we went from 200,000 HP all the way back up to 650,000. So it's like, if you don't take this team out, it's like the Thanos thing. If you don't go for the head, you're not gonna win, right? You can see that on full display right here for you, for your viewing pleasure. So now we're back up to full HP, and now we can kind of be a little bit more comfortable in this situation because we have the type advantage unit in slot 1 after stacking, and you can see he didn't take any damage. And if a super decides to go to Evil Boo has a chance to dodge it, and that is obviously going to be good for us as well because Evil Boo will be doing his thing. So nice. Get that one super in, and Evil Boo got the stun off. So you guys can see that we have utility on this team, we have debuffs, it all works out, right? So now I believe we are going to be absorbing Buuhan, which is very good, because this is going to be a good linking partner for Buu tanks on this other rotation. But I think what we should do, the second phase of this, if I'm not mistaken, is AGL. So we want to float him off because it'll just be too scary, right? Like I'd love to keep him on rotation, but it won't work. Now let's grab this right here because of the type orbs. That's as many as we can get. We can't get the 24 key. We'll grab these right here, and then we'll grab these right here. Now, when he, the next time we see this Buuhan, it'll be good because we'll probably fuse or we'll absorb Gohan and go to Buuhan on the LRs. We're trying to save that for as long as we can and stack up as much as we need to, but sometimes we're eventually going to have to do it, right? So now we are in this phase right here. Now, this will be a nice little situation because, do we still have items on? We do. So, Kid Buu, I don't believe, has his damage reduction active right now. So, what we want to do is pop an item. Now, this isn't to protect the units in the front. It's to protect our unit floating there on the side. I believe, yeah. So, now, here's the situation, right? We have a unit with 388,000 defense and type advantage with a chance to dodge. That is probably the safest unit for this specific situation in slot 1 because Buuhan is at 558,000. But that is not going to be enough to save us, right? Even if he does take a super. So we're just going to have the chance that the dodge is going to be our best play. And we use the item here to protect Kid Buu on the end. So we'll do is grab those orbs, we'll get to the 24 key, and then we will grab these orbs right here. And we will see if the gamble pays off or not. So the first attack is a super, and he dodges it. So our gamble paid off. You can see even with the Whis, these aren't going to do any damage, right? So that is the prime example of a unit doing what it's supposed to do right away. You know, slot 1 had the damage, or had the defensive prowess to do the dodging and all of that fun stuff. And we ended up, you know, getting out of there with no damage taken. So this is a perfect scenario for the turn. The Whis was probably not wasted because of the normal that Kid Buu is about to take right here, because he does need to take some hits before he is where he needs to be. But sometimes that is what it's going to happen, and in this case, it didn't happen until the most dangerous phase, so we had to work around it a little bit. Now, the last phase for this team is going to be rough. I don't really know what we're going to do, because we have to finish this Frieza off with a super, and we're going to be type disadvantage, but we'll see. I got a couple tricks up my sleeve. So there we go. Now he's safe, and we can go ahead and continue on with the video. Now, what we want to do is save this active skill for later, because this active skill is actually going to come in at a very important junction. There we go. So 600,000. We're going to grab these orbs right here, because again, we want to focus on the rainbow orbs for Mr. Buu. This is very important. And we got 3 right there. And we are moving and grooving. Now, next turn, we're not going to have the Whis active, because we're not going to need it. We might, actually, because we're going to be type disadvantage. If we even get to... Are we going to get to the next... Yeah, we're definitely going to get to the next turn. Buu here has to put on a show. Because what we're going to do, I think, on the next turn is actually fuse, and you guys will understand why here in a moment. We're going to let this turn play out as normal, and then I will show you guys what I mean. Because we're actually going to have a pretty decent setup with this next specific turn that's going to help us out a bit. Because we have to identify what units do, and in this case, this unit's going to do something very beneficial for us. So, after all those supers with the Whis active, we should be good, but you guys, don't be surprised if this does a little bit of damage. Yeah, 163,000. Yeah, that's a hard-hitting super that this Golden Frieza does. So this is a bit of a tough fight, but 5 million right there from this Buu. Doesn't really matter. Just here to look pretty and not die. This guy's going to come in clutch here in a little bit, and you guys will see why. I'm sure some of you can put it together, but maybe some of you don't. If you don't know what his active skill does, you will see when we get to that turn. But you guys can kind of see how this is working, right? What we're doing is finding the character that needs to go to slot 1, and then we're putting the characters that need to super first in slot 2, and then the floaters hopefully will be good enough. Some teams don't have floaters as good as this team does, but even then, even on a team with very good floaters, you still have to protect them, because that's just the nature of the game, right? So keep that in mind. Every run is not going to be perfect, but I hope so far you guys are learning something from this video, and you are seeing how, you know, difficult content sort of looks and what you need to do in order to beat some of these difficult bosses. So this case, it is going to be 1 attack on the end here for Buuhan, and what we're actually going to do is fuse right here into Buuhan, because now we're going to have more links, we're going to get Big Bat Bosses active, and we're going to have 1 million defense. Now, what we want to do is grab this one right here. We're going to have all of this, and this is actually going to give us an action break on Golden Frieza, and we're saving the Dokkan attack for the next turn. So we need Evil Buu potentially to dodge a super if it comes his way, and he should be good. 9.7 right there from you. And then we are going to get Buuhan, who's going to be putting up a pretty significant attack number, I would imagine. Just because this is a good situation for him, linked up with Tech Exchange Buu, and then having the STR Buuhan linked up with him, and you guys will see what I mean. I'm risking it for the biscuit with the item because Buu does double his defense, the STR one on the end, and if that ends up being a super and we lose, not a big deal, but you guys have kind of understood what we're aiming for. So right here, this is actually going to give us an action break, so now, if that's potentially a super, then we should be good to go, because we don't know if it's going to land or not, because we'll never see that attack, and that is the beauty of what this Buuhan can do. And you're seeing the damage right here. That wasn't the best example, but, you know, putting up attack stats like, you know, 15 million, stuff like that, 8 million on the supers. If these crit, you know, they're doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately in this case they are not. 4.8 right there from you, and then another super doing a decent bit of damage, but not enough to take him out. So if I had to guess, we're going to get unlucky, and he's going to super Buuhan on the end. If he does, that's fine. We'll just end the video there. But, okay, perfect. So, and he dodged it. All right, so that was a really good scenario. 9.8 million, and now with, I still think, especially if he does 2 supers, we should be good. Like, this normal might sting a little bit, but it's not going to take us out, right? I can say that for sure. There's no way this normal does 600,000. And if it does, we have a clip. That normal did 240,000, did more than I thought it would. So, what do we want to do in this situation? What we want to do in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, is we want to, again, we want to fuse into Buu right here. It is actually, or to Buuhan. It is actually unfortunate because it looks like we have to do the Dokkan attack. And I really would have liked to have saved that for next turn. So that is a bit unfortunate, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? So there we go. We're going to do the Dokkan attack right here, and we are going to take out Golden Frieza, and then we are going to go to the last phase. And this is actually going to be good that we're going to the last phase, because I'm going to be giving you an example of how to deal with an enemy that has a countdown mechanic. So that'll be kind of cool, and we'll get to see some different stuff. So a countdown mechanic, right? What you're going to see is like a thing that pops up with Frieza, and it's going to say 3, and then it's going to say 2, and then it's going to say 1. And then after that 1, the next sequence of attacks, he's going to do a super attack. And in this case, I believe this super does like millions of damage, right? The only way we can survive that super is if he does it to Majin Buu and he revives, right? That's the only way to get around it. So here, you guys are going to see this Buu right here has this Frieza has 2 actions, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to keep this version of Buu right here, and then we are going to just do his normal attack, right? And then we are also going to be grabbing the 24 key right here, and this is going to give us what is known as an action break on to Frieza. So with that action break, you guys see, it'll see like a little icon with an X next to it. When we get that attack in, it is going to take away one of the actions. So potentially it could take away one of the countdowns from Frieza, right? So that is going to help us. We're going to be able to stall a little bit, and that is going to help us in the long run. So here we go. This is going to be an action break, like I said, and we are going to take away an attack from Frieza, and with a crit, that's going to help as well. And with these, whatever numbers these supers do isn't really that important. It's just a matter of having them is good, I guess. So you guys are going to see, there we go, getting extra damage in. Not really too much because he is type disadvantage, but as long as he crits on those, the attack that's doing the action break, that is going to be very, very helpful for us. So 1.2 right there, and then next turn, you're going to see we have another mechanic at our disposal that's going to help us deal with this as well. So 4.8 right there from you, doesn't really matter. You will see what we're doing here in a moment. 1.8 million right there, and now we are down to the 2. So how do we get around this, right? What are we going to do to beat this situation? What we're going to do is this right here. So this active skill is going to serve as a Ghost Usher. And if you don't know what a Ghost Usher is, it takes away the enemy's attacks and it stalls them out, right? So what we're going to do is grab these, and then I believe this action break that we're going to do again with this version of Buhan is going to be beneficial for us, because we're going to be able to, I believe we carry that into the next turn, because he hasn't done an action that's been broken yet. So that is also going to help us out a decent bit. So you're going to see some okay damage this turn, nothing too crazy, but Buhan should do a decent amount because he has a good link setup and things like that. So here we go, taking all the damage we can get right here from this version of Buu. Then, 18 million, yeah. So if we crit right here, that is going to be very helpful, because that's going to be good damage. Because 18 million with a crit. We didn't crit, so you can see the damage was nowhere near as good. Unfortunately, this guy's isn't fully link leveled, so that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But it is what it is, right? These things happen. There we go. 1.1. Yeah, the damage here is not great, because we're just not getting any crits, right? When you're type disadvantage, it's tough. But he's still providing value for the team, because he is doing those action breaks. And we did get a crit in, so I guess that is nice. But this next turn, you guys are going to see a great example of what we're going to need to do, because Kid Buu is going to be at a type disadvantage situation, so you'll see we're going to break one of these actions. So what do we want to do? We actually want to hide Kid Buu, because we potentially can, and we don't need to do what I said I was going to do. So we're going to grab these with Kid Buu. We're going to grab these orbs right here with Buhan. I don't know why I keep calling them Butanks, and then we're going to grab these. So if I'm not mistaken, again, I forget if this is exactly how this works, but I believe because we broke one of the actions, 2 of them will be broken, but maybe not. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But here we go, 23 million. Yeah, if this crits, we're good. Like, Buu could just straight up win us this right here, but I'm not going to bank on it. Yeah, he didn't crit right there. That one would have been massive. Like, a crit right there would have been so huge. Would have been good, but unfortunately no cigar. So again, we're going to be getting the action break. A crit right there is perfect, and then even if we don't get another one right here, that one is broken. Now this will be a good determination. If this action is broken, that means the one from the last Buhan also stacked, so that'll be good. 3.9, and then he did. So yeah, this super is going to probably kill if we don't dodge it. We didn't dodge it. GG. Well, oh, he disables dodge. That's right. Well, I guess that was a pretty good example. That is the RNG that goes into the game, and I hope that this video was informative to you. Sometimes that just happens, right? You're gonna lose, but I hope now that you kind of have a couple tips and pointers on how to, play the game at a bit of a higher rate. So there we go. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.